Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's do a quick little video update today on the garden and the rabbit situation. The garden's looking good. Onions doing great. The bell peppers have really come back to life. The okra is absolutely loving the rabbit manure. There's a little celery that was left over, regrowing for the rabbits. The squash is doing all right, not great. Pulled a few, but I don't know if it's the buckets. They're getting plenty of water. I may end up just doing away with the squash and picking something else to go in there to see if I can get a better return. The banana peppers doing great. Ate some last night. The cayenne pepper bush, just crazy production. The potatoes here are the little reds. They're 2 or 3 inches above the dirt. I'm gonna give them another day or two, maybe 3, and then bury them again, just like the sweet potatoes, which I buried yesterday. So we'll let them do their thing and grow for the next few months. The tomatoes that I was going to destroy in the hydroponics, I was fixing to figure what to do with these things, just throw them away. This one here is just pretty much done. It's a fighter though. I mean, I tell you, this thing has almost died like 6 times, and there's a couple of fruit on there. I may harvest those and try to save those seeds, just because I mean, this is just a tough plant. I mean, it's just I could figure a way to make it come back right now and it would just fight, but it's just been happening this way for, you know, a couple 3 months now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save some seeds and put it out to the pasture. This is the Big Zack that I was complaining about. I'm not getting any fruit. I noticed I did get a couple of blooms, but no fruit. And then lo and behold, I was messing around yesterday, and boom, there's a tomato in there. So, and then here's the other hydroponic one. It's the one that's producing, but they're all teeny tiny little grapes, little babies. And you know, they're turning red, but they're just teeny tiny. So what I think I'm gonna do, since it's still early, it's barely August. I think I'm going to take some cuttings from this one and possibly this one, since they are mature plants, and go ahead and get those in the soil and just go ahead and let them grow. And they should produce really quick, because the good thing about when you take a sucker and you root it, like this right here, if it gets a little bit bigger, it's a sucker. When you take it and you root it, it's already a mature plant, because technically it's a clone. It's part of this plant, so it can flower and produce pretty quickly. So I can cut the time in half. If I drop the seed tomorrow and planted it versus just taking a cutting, I can cut the production time in half by using clones. The other tomato plants are doing phenomenal. Here's the beast on the end, just going up and up and up. It's producing like crazy, 4 and 5 tomatoes per set. I mean, they're beautiful. We've harvested quite a few tomatoes off of this one. The Cherokee Purple here in the middle, it's doing awesome. We've harvested several off of this. Here's the Superstar though. Look at the size of this Big Zack. I mean, this thing is bigger than softball size. It's just massive. And then there's number 2 of the Big Zacks. And then early this morning when I fed the rabbits, guess what I noticed? I was complaining that I only had 2 Big Zacks. Look what happened overnight, basically. Boom, there's a set of 4 Big Zacks. I have never seen that before. 4 of them right side by side on the same set. Crazy. So this plant's happy. So we're gonna keep doing what we do and see. I mean, the creative part of me wants to pull this tomato, get rid of those 4 brand new ones, and top this plant so all the energy goes into that, just to see how big I can get it to grow. But I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. The watermelon and cantaloupe doing great. This fella is just taking off. I mean, look at the size of this thing. I got flowers everywhere. No fruit yet. Plenty of flowers, but I haven't found any fruit yet. Shouldn't be long though, but it's absolutely loving the rabbit manure. Okay, update on the rabbits. For those of you that missed the live stream last night, I did a impromptu live stream because I had an issue with the rabbits. The kits turned 4 weeks old on Monday. Zai is rebred. She should be having kits 2 weeks from now. So I need to get these babies out of her cage no less than a week. No, they need to be out by Monday, Tuesday at the latest, to give her a break for a week and time to build a new nest. Plus, it's just time for them to be weaned. So what I did is I went ahead, and as you can see, I set up a second row of cages, and I set this one here up for the kits yesterday. And so I moved them all into this cage. They had a water bottle, they had plenty of food, they have a tile to lay on, plenty of shade. I covered it just in case it rained. And I put them in here for the day to give Za a break and have a free cage and give these guys some room to run around and play. Yesterday evening, about 6:30, 6:45, my neighbor knocked on the door and he said, "Hey bro, your rabbits are all out in the woods running around." And I'm like, "What?" So I come running out here, and in this cage there was only 2 baby kits in here, just 2. The other 7 had gotten out. And they either crawled up, I've put more hay in here since then to block the hole, but they either crawled out of this opening here, up through the hay and jumped out, or they crawled through this little itty bitty 2-inch hole here in front of where the food thing goes. But I had a water bottle here, so to get out of there they had to crawl through the water and push out, but I think they did. I'm pretty sure that's how they got out. And they were running around in the woods. And for those of you that haven't seen the woods behind my house, this is the woods behind my house. Can you imagine 7 little baby rabbits running around all back in there? And yeah, it was nuts. So I'm freaking out. I've lost 7 rabbits. At least I have 2 left because I already promised Native Voice 2 rabbits for his upcoming rabbitry breeding program. And just for the hell of it, I figured, man, let me just go see if I can find them, see if they're out there. So I went walking through the woods, and I'm walking around through here, and I see one of the black ones, because I had 3 blacks, and they should stand out pretty good here, which they did. I saw one of the black ones, and as I'm looking at him, I hear a noise, and I look down at my feet, and there is a baby rabbit standing in front of my shoe with its 2 front feet up on my boot, like wanting me to pick it up. I reached down, I picked it up, carried it over, put it back in the cage. I repeated that process for the next hour, walking around through the woods over about a 2-acre spread. And every 10 or 15 minutes, I'd see a rabbit and I'd walk over to it and I'd stand there and it would just come running right up to me and I'd pick it up and put it back in the cage. That happened until I had all the rabbits back in the cage except for one. One of the rabbits I could not find, and it's the one that's colored like tribe. So it's gray and red, which is exactly the colors of the woods back here. Almost impossible to find this rabbit. Could not find him. Came inside right before dusk. I'm thinking to myself, well, right before dusk, that's when they usually feed, and that's when I usually bring them, greens and all that good stuff. But I'd already brought them carrots out earlier. So I was like, man, it's just before dusk. I'll take a shot and go out there and see if maybe he's come back to get with mama to try to milk from mama at dark like they usually do. And previous to this, I put him out a little bowl of food and a little bowl of water on the ground just in case he came back in the middle of the night so he wouldn't starve. But I come out here just before dark, and he is sitting on the ground right in front of the cage looking up at Za. I walked out here. I got about this close to the cage, and he just came running right over to my feet. I picked him up, put him in the cage. So all 9 rabbits are back in their cage after losing 7, which is a testament to what I heard from several different people on YouTube about the rabbits. Gilbrook Farms, Good Simple Living, several of them said, make sure you handle your bunnies, even if it is a meat rabbit setup, simply because when it comes time to process, it's less stressful for the rabbit. They're not freaking out because it's the first time you pick them up, and it makes the process easier for the rabbits and way easier for you mentally. And you guys know from my updates, every single day since the day, 10 minutes after they were born, those baby rabbits were in my hands. And every single day, at least once a day, sometimes 3 and 4 times a day, I would pick each one of those rabbits up. Or at least stick my hands in there and rub over all of them while they were eating and drinking water, just so they were used to my smell, used to my hands, and used to being held. And that really, really paid off yesterday, because there's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind that if it wasn't for the fact that they were comfortable with me and they knew who I was, none of those rabbits would have been gone. But they all came up to me like a lost puppy, hey, pick me up, take me home. It was kind of awesome. And once I picked them up and tried to bring them to the cage, it reminded me of like a 3 or a 4-year-old kid when you take them to the playground and they've been playing for a couple hours and it's time to go home and they don't want to leave and you kind of got to drag them kicking and screaming. That's about how they acted once I got them back towards the cage. But it was pretty neat. It was actually really, really neat. But yeah, they are all back at home here with Mama, safe and sound, just chilling. You know, and like I said, you know, they're completely comfortable with, and this one loves to sit in the food. I don't know why. It's nonstop, sits in the food tray. Just doesn't want anybody else to get any food. Get out of there. But yeah, the rabbits are doing good. They're all fat and happy. I'm gonna move them back into the cage. I'm gonna do a little bit better job getting all the holes blocked, but I'm gonna get them back into the cage and go ahead and start getting them weaned so they're ready to go by Monday on their own. I mean, I could legit just wean them all today, pull them out of the cage and not have a big deal with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to only remove, I'll probably take 5 of them out, the 5 biggest, and take them out permanently. Probably tomorrow. Today I'll just do it for a few hours, take them all out. Tomorrow I'm going to cut her litter in half and then leave the other 4 with her. And then the day after that, I'm going to take one away. The day after that, take one away. So come Monday or Tuesday, she will have 1 or no rabbits or no kits at all with her. That way it'll give her time for her milk to dry up and it'll make the separation process easier on her. And then she can rest for a week and get started building her nest back and everything's good. Another thing I noticed, and I've heard several rabbitry say this, if you're going to do this, the nest box, once they get to be about 2, 3, 4 weeks old, yank everything out of the nest box, get rid of it because they just use it as a litter box, and they do. I cleaned it out yesterday, and they had basically just started using the nest box as a litter box. So all that material is cleaned out. I went ahead and washed it out real good, so it's good to go. Now they just kind of hang out there. But that is the update for the rabbitry. Like I said, here's the second setup. This is temporary. I want to wait a little bit longer for the lumber prices to come down. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to have 4 of these cages just like this. 4 16-foot long cages, or 15-foot long cages, but they're going to be double stacked. There's going to be 2 stacks here and 2 stacks here. There'll be a roof, a flat roof on an angle where I can collect the rainwater over all of this, but it'll be pole barn style. There's not going to be any walls at all. It's just going to be a roof because I want to keep the ventilation going. If I was somewhere, you know, up north or something like that where the winters got down into the sub-zero temperatures, I would have walls, you know, but here, you know, the 20s, teens maybe every now and then. The rabbits love the cold, but I'm not going to do any walls. I have the fencing wire. I'm going to fence it all in with 2x4 fencing wire. It'll all be fenced in, so it'll be predator safe. But also that fence is going to allow me that if I do have the chance of like a super crazy winter storm and crazy winds, because the only thing you got to worry about in the wintertime is keeping the rabbits dry and keeping the wind off of them. So that the fencing walls will allow me to just roll out a tarp or put a temporary wall up as a wind block. But it just gives options. But the price of the lumber has come down quite a bit for what I'm going to need. I want it to come down a little bit more to make it more cost effective. You know, otherwise I can just keep doing the cinder block thing. And the cinder blocks work great. The T-post was a great idea. Here's the problem. All the weight from the rabbits and the cooling towers with those ceramic tiles, I don't know if you can see this, but it causes a pretty decent bow. I've got them propped up in the middle with the cinder blocks, but it's really hard to get it level, and it's really hard to get the wires tied into the T-posts, and it's really hard to do it by yourself. I mean, I had to hook these things to the post and get the holes dug and try to get it level and get it in the ground. You know, with one person is really, really hard to do. So if you're going to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry, cinder blocks, they don't have to be perfectly level, but they do make it really, really stable. So this works. So for the time being, I'm actually probably going to drop this cage down on cinder blocks. Yeah, as you can see, I've got plenty back there. I'll drop this one down on the blocks until I get the posts and get this little roof section thing built. But as for that is the end of the update as far as the rabbits and the container garden goes. Thank you guys for following me through this and the process, the whole 9 yards. We're looking forward to some more kits here pretty soon. I believe Native is going to try to swing by here this weekend, so maybe we'll do a little collaboration video. And he's definitely going to be coming by here in first or second week of next month to bring his doe to breed to Tribe. And then he's leaving with Za's brother, this big white right here. This one is going to replace the buck that he lost. Yes, he is all white, but he is Za's brother, so he has color in him. So it's a very good chance he's going to throw some good color on the babies. He's going to leave with him, and also Native is going to leave with 2 of Za's babies, a doe and a buck, to really get his rabbitry jump started. So in September we're going to breed, so hopefully within 30 days, so by the middle of August, Tribe should have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, he should have somewhere between 12 and 14 rabbits to take care of, counting the new babies. So yeah, a lot of things are on the horizon. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to have a lot of rabbits around here. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, this weekend, Saturday, 8 p.m., we are pressure canning Sloppy Joes. And Sunday, Saturday we're canning Sloppy Joes. Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern is prep rally with me in Backwoods. And immediately following prep rally will be my first members only live stream. So that should be fun. It'll be the first one we've done, so hopefully we get it figured out and we do it right. But hopefully you guys tune in for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I will talk to you later.